preparedness. I know the Red Cross, when there's any kind of a disaster, weather-wise, you guys are there. You show up and help people. And so what is the local Red Cross disaster services? What kind of plans do you guys have in the works for winter weather here in North Texas?
We have lots of plans. We've done a lot of work on around winter weather since '09.
Yeah.
One thing that we have done is increased our shelter capability possibilities here in Wichita Falls.
Good.
We have 5,000-6,000 possibilities at this point where we could bed spaces that we could open up and put people in. So if there was a huge storm and say the power went off and it's really, really cold, North Texas people stay home. They stay home and take care of themselves. Right. But if it was an extended event and it was cold and there's no power, then the Red Cross would open shelters at churches, at schools, at community centers, and offer warming stations. And we would offer hot meals, coffee 24 hours a day, games for the kids, all that kind of stuff to keep you safe, warm, happy. You know, because if you lose gas, electricity, and water, then you're going to be in a shelter situation. We had a shelter open because of an ice storm in Electra. The ice storm actually was north of Electra, but they lost power to the whole city. And we didn't have a lot of people that came and spent the night. Most people went home at night and sheltered at home, cuddled up with all the blankets they own on their bed. But by morning, when they were cold, they could come to the Red Cross shelter and warm up and spend the day with us there. So and last year we had in Jacksboro, the gas got shut off on the coldest day of the year, of course. And so we had to open up a shelter down there. Again, we had a few elderly residents that came and stayed with us. The majority of people came and ate with us and warmed up with us and drank coffee with us and visited with us, and then they could go on about their day. So we were actually offering a great service, especially for those gas workers that were trying to get that fixed. They could come to the Red Cross and they didn't have to worry about where they were going to find food going to the next town because the restaurants were all closed and that kind of stuff. So the thing that we really need people to do is plan ahead. You know, make sure that in your car you have a couple of blankets. Make sure you've got a little bit of water and some snacks for you. So if you got stuck in your car, you're not going to just be miserable. You know, a few blankets can make a big difference if you're stuck on the side of the car. If snow got deep enough that you're stuck on the side of the road and you have enough gas in your car, you can turn your car off and on to keep it warm, but get out every now and then and make sure that there's no snow around your tailpipe. We don't want anybody dying in their car while they're waiting for somebody to come pick them up on the side of the highway. Move the snow away from your tailpipe so that the carbon monoxide from your car doesn't get to you while you're sitting there. And then stay with your car. Don't wander off trying to find help. Help will find you if you're on a road somewhere in the Wichita Falls area. Help will find you. We have a relationship with the base and with the National Guard that they'll bring in Hummers if we have a big snow event, and they'll pick up people on the side of the road and bring them to the Red Cross shelters so that the Red Cross can then take care of them.
I was going to ask you about the coordination between your agency and other agencies. How has that changed over the years, especially since an event like the '09 blizzard, which really caught a lot of people off guard?
It caught a lot of people off guard. The relationships were already there, but we really didn't have winter weather plans. That was not on the board for this part of the country.
It just doesn't happen here.
It just doesn't happen here. You know, if you're up in Amarillo, you expect it, but we didn't really expect it here. So now there is actually a winter weather plan, and there's winter weather committees, and those people meet. I think the meeting is next week. There's a meeting at the base with all the players coming on board. You know, and one question we were asked last year was, what if the base closes and they lock down their gates and there are airmen at the mall? Is the Red Cross going to open a shelter and house them? Absolutely. We now know that's an issue that we need to make sure that we can face and take care of. So if say there was a security issue on the same time as a snowstorm and they locked down the base for some reason and the airmen couldn't get back on base, the Red Cross has committed and worked with that other organization, the base and the commander there, to be sure that the Red Cross knows that they need to have a shelter for airmen just in case. That would be any situation, whether it was weather related or not. We would open a shelter if the base closed and we had airmen that weren't on base. The Red Cross would be the sheltering agency for them.
That's really good to know.
And that's all in that collaboration, that working with everybody. Everybody comes together, and it's kind of weird when you get all the players together. You know, you've got county government, you've got city government, you've got emergency managers, you've got the base, you've got churches, you've got the Red Cross, you've got the Salvation Army. It really, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to handle a disaster. They're called disasters for a reason, and it's not going to work if we don't all know who the players are, and the food bank comes in and helps us. Everybody coordinates together. You'd be amazed to know how many players there are at the table when we start talking disasters and who's going to do what and who's going to take which part of this. You know, and lots of those agencies are just like us. They're nonprofit, non-government agencies that work off of the donations of the generous American people. You know, and if there weren't those donations to support these organizations, we wouldn't be able to be there.